Am I the a-hole for refusing to wake up my husband when my parents visited and kicking them out when they insisted? I will keep the details as minimal as possible. My husband and I have been married for 5 years now, and we are both 29 years old. For the last 3 weeks, due to a complete screw-up in a department at the company my husband works for, it has been all hands on deck for my husband and his team to resolve the issues. My husband has been working 18-hour days, and on some days, not even coming home, working throughout the entire night and into the next day. I don't know much about the issues exactly, but what I do know is that if they do not resolve them, it will result in a $50 million loss for the company. The issues are not the fault of my husband or anyone on his team, but they are the ones who have to fix them. I can see the exhaustion in my husband's face when he comes in at 2 or 3 in the morning when I happen to be awake and leaves again at 7. I don't know how he's doing it or how he keeps going, but I try my best to keep as much as possible off his plate at home until he can get the issues resolved. Before this, he has been nothing but supportive and helpful around the house. When he comes home, he eats, showers, and goes straight to bed. I have found him some nights literally sleeping at the table while he was trying to eat when I went down to check on him because he wasn't in bed yet, or passed out at the foot of the bed with a shower running and still in his work clothes. 2 nights ago, he got home around midnight, which is late but earlier than usual, and I thought something bad had happened because he looked like a ghost. But through his exhaustion, he gave me this massive smile and said they did it, and everything was done. He told me the boss gave them each a couple of days off, and he only needs to be back in the office next week Tuesday. He ate dinner, took a shower, and got into bed. I got up the next morning around 9 and made breakfast. I thought about waking up my husband, but decided not to and let him sleep. Around 12, my parents visited me. I normally work from home, and they do visit from time to time, especially since I'm 6 months pregnant. I greeted them and we sat down and had coffee. Around 30 minutes into their visit, they asked where my husband was because they saw his truck in the driveway. I told them he was still sleeping. My mother gave me a look and said, "It's unacceptable for my husband to still be sleeping past 12, especially with a pregnant wife, and that I should wake him up." I told them no and to leave it, and then I explained the full situation of what happened over the last 3 weeks. They didn't budge and insisted I wake my husband up. Apparently, it's not right for him to sleep in with a pregnant wife. It went as far as my mother standing up and saying that if I would not do it, then she would go and wake him up. I stood up and blocked my mother from going up the stairs and told my parents that if they find it so wrong for my husband to get proper sleep after 3 weeks of barely any rest, they should leave our house because I will not, and I refuse to let them wake him up. I told them I would let my husband sleep until he wakes up himself. I will not disturb him, and I will not allow anyone else to disturb him. They asked if I was kicking them out, and I said yes. If they can't respect my request to leave my husband alone and let him sleep, they are no longer welcome. Their whole visit lasted around an hour. Around 3 p.m., I got bombarded with texts from other family members berating me for kicking my parents out of our house, even my sister and brother, telling me I'm the a-hole for doing it. They said my parents were just trying to help. Even after I explained the situation, some family members are still on my parents' side, saying I overreacted by kicking them out because they were only looking out for my safety, seeing as I'm pregnant. Edit. Unfortunately, I have a family that is somewhat close and loves to talk. Secrets don't stay secret in this family for long, especially with my aunts and cousins who can't keep anything to themselves. As soon as they know something, everyone else has to know it too. A bit of extra information I see keeps getting asked. This is my first child. She will also be the first grandchild and the first child born into the family in the last 20 years. Now for the top comments. Someone give this lady a trophy for being an awesome spouse, not the a-hole. This is called being a supportive spouse. I'm here for it. Exactly. This is literally what partnership in a relationship looks like. Your husband is lucky to have you, not the a-hole in any way. Don't forget she's lucky to have him too. He's busting his butt working 18-hour days for his wife and future child. Did it without complaints. All in cleaning up someone else's mistake that he and his team weren't responsible for. That's pretty freaking solid in my book. Trying to help with what? Your husband sleeping and you minding your own business working from home? I would be calling everyone on group call and giving them a piece of my mind. I don't tolerate disrespect like that. It's your home. They came in giving unsolicited opinions, and your relatives would be getting it too for sticking their beaks where they don't belong. You're pregnant, not terminally ill. That was my point as well. It's not like the pregnancy is keeping me from not being able to do anything. Everything is going great with the pregnancy, except feeling like a ball. Other than that, I'm fine. You did the right thing sticking up for your husband. Is this a cultural thing where your parents and family can make demands like this? No, not at all. They didn't have an issue when my husband left for about a week, 2 months back for work or anything. I don't know where any of this suddenly came from. Next story. Am I the a-hole for backing my sister-in-law up and kicking my wife's friend out of the house for holding my niece? My wife and I have been married for 3 years, and my wife, my sister-in-law, my wife's sister, and I all live together. She has 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old. My wife and I help her, mostly my wife, since she's at home most of the time. But her friend has been a pain for us. I don't like her. She lives near us and has been friends with my wife for a year. She comes over almost every other day and stays for hours. She's senseless, rude, and talks loudly. We have to remind her almost every time to wash her hands before touching the children. And the worst part? She sometimes shows up drunk. She came over 2 days ago and tried to hold my 5-month-old niece without washing her hands, and on top of that, she was drunk. My sister-in-law got angry and asked her to get out of our house. She said she was sorry and went to wash her hands, but my sister-in-law grabbed her hand and asked her to leave. I had enough of her as well, so I joined in and asked her to leave. She was very angry but didn't say anything and left. Later that night, when I was using my wife's phone, I saw that the friend had texted my wife. She said we were rude and shouldn't have insulted her, and then accused me and my sister-in-law of something going on. When I saw the text, I asked my wife if she still wanted to be friends with this woman after what she said. My wife said she didn't know what I was talking about, so I showed her the message. After reading it, my wife said she never expected her friend to say something like that, and that she was cutting off the friendship. I said it was necessary, because if she didn't cut her off, I would have divorced her. My wife got angry at me for bringing up divorce, and hasn't talked to me since, after yelling at me for half an hour. My sister-in-law says I was wrong for mentioning divorce when it was her friend's fault, not my wife's. Am I the a-hole? Never use the D word unless you want one. Seriously, why the heck would OP even bring up divorce when wife was already agreeing with him? It would be like me telling my husband I don't want our son playing football because it's too dangerous. Husband says I completely agree. And I come back with, well, you better agree or I would divorce you over it. Just straight up alienating your spouse for no reason whatsoever. You're the a-hole. She was dropping the friend. Why did you create drama? Yup. And don't say divorce unless you mean it. There sounds like there is something between you and sister-in-law if you divorce your wife over something so small. Seems like you're prioritizing sister-in-law over wife a bit. This post reeks of missing reasons. I feel like OP will say in the comments his wife can't have kids, so he sees himself as the kid's dad, or just straight up doesn't like his wife. Small? You are crazy, bro. It's a grave accusation. And yes, I'm currently prioritizing my sister-in-law over my wife because she's recovering from childbirth. And I am not a dad to my nephew or my niece. I'm their uncle. Alright, I guess I am wrong for throwing divorce on her face, but I was angry. I was so damn angry. Because not only she's accusing me of infidelity, she's accusing our family as a whole like we practice infidelity in our own family. If something like this were to happen to you, wouldn't you get angry? And why the heck is my wife was friends with someone like her anyway? But I was angry. I was so damn angry. Yeah, we got that. Are you an actual adult? Get it together, man. And go apologize to your wife. And why the heck is my wife was friends with someone like her anyway? She's not anymore. Good freaking lord, dude. You have a lot of work to do to manage your anger in order to grow into an actual man versus whatever it is you are right now. You're still not over this. Next story. Am I the a-hole for showing up to my boyfriend's surprise birthday party, even though his girl best friend didn't invite me? I, 27 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 28 male, for about a year. Everything's been good overall, except there's always been this one weird dynamic. His extremely close girl best friend, Tina. They've known each other forever and claim it's totally platonic. I've always tried to be cool about it, made an effort, invited her out, etc. Anyway, his birthday was last weekend. I had no idea anything was happening until his roommate texted me asking if I was coming to a certain bar that night. I had no clue what he was talking about, and he was shocked I didn't know it was a surprise party that Tina had planned. So I show up, alone obviously, and Tina looks genuinely surprised to see me. She literally said, "Oh, I didn't know roommate told you." No apology, no oops, nothing. I stayed, mostly to avoid drama on my boyfriend's birthday, but the whole thing was awkward. I sat off to the side with some random cousin, while Tina gave a whole speech about how no one understands him like she does. Cool. Later I brought it up to my boyfriend and he said it wasn't that deep and that maybe she just assumed he had told me. But it's his surprise party. Wouldn't you assume your girlfriend should be there? Now I'm wondering if I should have just left the second I found out I wasn't actually invited. I feel weirdly guilty, but also humiliated. Am I the a-hole for showing up and making it known I wasn't originally included? Or was that fair game since, I'm literally his girlfriend? Now for the top comments. No girl, something seems really fishy about her, and your boyfriend being so nonchalant about it is also really weird. You're his girlfriend, weren't invited to a surprise party by the person organizing it. It's definitely on purpose, and the way she is acting, the whole "I'm the only one who understands him" is kinda all really weird. I'm just getting some bad vibes. I think more discussion needs to be had with you and your boyfriend. But I'd definitely keep an eye on her because she seems really off to me. This whole situation is weird. It's clear she intended for you not to be there at your own boyfriend's birthday party. You are not the a-hole girl. She definitely is though, and I'd mention that more to your boyfriend and about how she was acting. Especially if the behavior does concern you, you should make your feelings heard. Agreed. Something fishy is definitely going on there. Your boyfriend should have your back and should have understood how it was wrong of her not to invite you. There's nothing fishy about it. Tina is a witch and needs to grow up. In fact, so does the boyfriend. Yes, but boyfriend isn't stopping it, probably because he likes this kind of attention. Either way, OP isn't the a-hole, but the other two? Just yuck. He's gaslighting and disrespecting you. Let Tina keep him. Break up with him. Tell him it's not that deep. Not the a-hole. Right? That "it's not that deep" line rubbed me the wrong way too. Like, I'm your girlfriend. How am I the only one who didn't know? It feels dismissive, and honestly, the more I replay it all in my head, the more off it feels. Might be time to rethink things for real. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to bring my boyfriend to family events until he learns how to read the room? So, I, 26 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 28 male, for almost a year. He's kind, smart, funny, and I do love him. But there's one issue that's becoming kind of exhausting. He has no idea how to read a room, like zero social awareness sometimes. The first time I really noticed it was at my cousin's engagement party. Everyone was dressed semi-formal, soft music, people mingling, pretty chill vibe. He showed up, late by the way, blasting music from his car, came in wearing a graphic tee that said something wildly inappropriate. I won't repeat it here, but it was something you'd see on a gag gift, and proceeded to dominate every conversation with unrelated jokes and stories. My dad straight up asked me, "Is he okay?" I tried to let it slide, but it keeps happening. At my sister's birthday dinner, he loudly told a story about someone crapping their pants in a Target while we were waiting for dessert. At a family barbecue, he kept pushing my uncle to just admit he used to do drugs in the 80s. No matter how many subtle signals I give, like tapping his leg under the table, changing the subject, or even texting him to tone it down, he either doesn't pick up on it or brushes it off. I've tried to gently talk to him about it. His response is always something like, "That's just who I am," or "Your family's too uptight." But I don't think asking someone not to bring up bodily functions over dinner is being uptight. So now I've started declining invites to family stuff unless I go alone. My mom has asked a few times why he's not coming anymore, and I just say he's busy. But the truth is, I'm embarrassed and kind of tired of feeling like I'm babysitting him in social situations. He recently got annoyed and said I'm ashamed of him, and that it's hurtful I don't bring him around. I told him I'm not ashamed of him, but I am uncomfortable with how he acts around my family. Now he's being cold and passive-aggressive. So, am I the a-hole for not bringing my boyfriend to family events until he learns some basic social awareness? I guarantee he can read the room in court. I guarantee he can read the room in church. I guarantee he can read the room at work. I guarantee he can read the room in front of the elderly on the street. He feels insecure, and he is acting like a funny guy who can't read the room because he's immature and doesn't know how to manage his feelings of inadequacy. If you want to spend your precious 20s trying to fix him, fine, but you need to know the truth. He's doing this for reasons, not because he's unaware. Ladies, stop trying to fix men. I promise you, this dude isn't great in your relationship either. He's not this great guy you want us all to believe, and you might also think he is. He's a douche, and if you really step back and look at your relationship, you will see him for what he is, not worth your time. He considers his behavior a part of his personality, which means that you're not going to get him to change. Do you really want a man-child that embarrasses you for the rest of your life? If he cared about your feelings, then he would change his actions instead of doubling down. You have to ask yourself if you can live with that forever. Not the a-hole, but you are way too understanding. He considers his feelings more important than yours, and he'd do the same as your +1 at your work events, and to your children. He's acting like a child. Do you enjoy being his mama? Oh God, yes. Can you imagine how he will act towards any children he might have? Shudder. He will purposely embarrass his kids in front of others, and they will grow up hating him. And if OP marries him and reproduces with him, her kids should hate her too, for knowing this and purposefully subjecting them to him.